Okay, so let's go over cutting and trimming paths. There's a few ways that we can cut and trim the paths that we've created. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this first way using the control panel. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to my white arrow. So the A key. And what I want to do is I want to cut this point right here so that I have an individual segment that I can move into place over here. So I'll select this point and I'm going to come up to my control panel and I'm looking for this icon. You can see that right here, cut path on selected anchor point. I'll click that. And it doesn't seem like a lot happens, but if I zoom in close, you can kind of see that it is disconnected that stroke. So I'll select that path now, or that point, and I'll move it away. Okay, so let's try that again. I'm going to come over to this point, and I'll select that, and then I'll come up to the control panel and click the cut path. And if I click outside, I can see it disconnected that stroke. I'll go ahead and kind of hover over this segment, and then select that point. And sometimes you get a jumble of points that are hard to select. I'll go ahead and do Command Z. When that happens, what I like to do is I select the segment of the path or the point I need to select, and then I'm going to right click and arrange and bring to front. So anytime the path or object is in front, it will be the first one that is selected. So now I can select that point and move that into place. Okay, so let's go over another way to cut paths. Okay, we're going to use the scissors tool. Here's a basic process for using the tool. The first thing we need to do is select the object that we want to cut. I want to go ahead and cut this path up here, this kind of upper rectangle. So the first thing I need to do is select the object. Then I need to use my scissors tool, so I will hit the C key, and now I'm going to hover over the place that I would like to cut that path at. So I could cut this anywhere. I'll go ahead and cut this right here, right in the middle, and you can see it put a point at that part that I cut it at. And then I'll go ahead and hover over this intersection between this path and this other rectangle, and I will click with the scissors tool right there. And now you can see I have an individual segment right here that's been cut. To test that, I will hit the delete key and then do Command and click, and I've successfully used the scissors tool. Okay, I'll go ahead and try that again. This time I'll do it over here on this side. So I'm going to actually cut right here at this corner, and then I will hover on that intersection. Now, just because it's highlighting this other path does not mean it will cut this other path, because like I showed you before, I selected the object first. So now it's just going to lock on to cutting only that path, and I will cut it. This time I'll hold down on the Command key to get my white arrow. I'll do a marquee select on that segment and delete it. And then I'll do Command click again to end that operation. Okay, let's go ahead and do some more cutting. I'm going to select this circle, and I'm going to cut at the intersection between the circle and the rectangle here, and the intersection here. I'll hold down on the Command key, select the part that I want to delete, and then hit the delete key. I'll hit it twice because sometimes it doesn't delete the whole thing all at once. Alright, let's do a few more. Select this point, and I will cut it right here. And just for demo's sake, I'll also cut it right here in the middle. And I will hold down on the Command key, select this segment, and delete it. And I'll do the same thing down here to this segment. I'll select that, and this time I'll kind of hover and use my smart guides and find kind of a perpendicular point right there, and I will cut that segment, and it's already highlighted the part that I need to delete. So I'll just hit delete. Okay, last time. This time I'm going to select this corner right here. So I will select that, and I will cut that there, and I will delete this bottom segment. Hold Command and click when you're done. Alright, so let's go over two more ways of trimming or cutting paths. I'm going to go ahead and show you the knife and eraser tool. Again, same thing. I need to select the path that I want to modify, and this time I'm going to use the knife tool. So if I go over to the tool panel and I click inside the scissors group and go down here to knife, I will access that, and with this object selected, I'm going to start outside of the path and draw a shape through it, or draw a path through it. I'm holding down on the mouse, and then when I release, I will hold down on my Command key, and now I should have two individual shapes. So I'll do that again over here. Kind of slice through this corner. Command click. I'll hold down on the Command key and pull that object apart. This time I'll cut a portion through the center. Command click, look inside there. Now the knife tool doesn't really do a good job of cutting through the center of objects. So if I try to cut through the center and then I try to delete this, you can see that it's not really doing a good job. So the best way that I know to use the knife tool is to cut past the edges, click outside, and then pull that part off. Just for demonstration's sake, I'll show you a unfilled path. You can see after I did that, now have 2 segments. Go ahead and try something a little more funkier. Try something like that. Alright, okay, so the last one is the eraser tool. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the tool panel and find my eraser. I can also hit Shift E, and depending on how big your cursor is right now, you can just test this by clicking and holding, just kind of erasing away at a corner of this rectangle. Now if I hold down on the command key and click, you can see that it's modified that path. I can even go into the shape, erase out that portion, release. You can see what it's done there. To get a little bit more control with this tool, I can hit the left and right bracket keys to adjust the size of the erase cursor. So now I'll try something a little bit smaller, see what that does. Okay, command click, and I'll go ahead and try to separate this. Another cool thing about this tool is if I select just this top portion and I start to erase, as my eraser tool moves into the bottom path that was not selected, you will see that it is not going to affect that bottom shape, even though it looks like it is. So as soon as I release on the mouse, now you can see I've only affected that top selected shape. So the eraser tool, when nothing is selected, will be indiscriminate and will just start cutting through everything. But if I choose a selected path and then start using the eraser tool, it will only affect that path. And I'll go ahead and just show what it does on a non-filled shape. Pretty cool. That could be a logo right there. I'll go ahead and switch the stroke and the fill. Alright, and that's the general rundown of cutting and trimming paths.